I know that the Lord has saved me. I know that I love him. I love him very much. But I think about this often. I go about my day sometimes and I don't even think about the Lord. And I know that I'm not loving him with all my heart, soul, mind, strength perfectly. And so my question to you, it's kind of weird, I think, but my question is, and I am constant sin because that's a command, and I can't keep that commandment, to love him perfectly all the time, or have I ever loved him perfectly, or can we in this life? And I think about that a lot, and I was wondering what you would say to a question like that.
Well, if you define imperfection as sin, then we do not experience perfection in this life. And so if you take that perspective, then we are in constant sin up until the eschaton and the final judgment, and basically until we die and are resurrected and are fully sanctified. But I'm not sure that's the best way to really look at it, because when you talk about someone who being in constant sin, you're talking, normally when we describe it in that way, we're talking about someone who is either struggling with or is given into some type of abiding sin in their life that just simply they will not stop committing. And that's a different thing than sinless perfectionism, because again, if we define it in that way, then we would have to believe in sinless perfectionism. We would have to believe that once we are saved, then we are going to be made sinlessly perfect, and therefore would not be experiencing sin. Because it's true, the only one who has loved the Father perfectly 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is the Lord Jesus himself, and that's why we need to have his righteousness to be able to stand before a holy God. But on a theological and pastoral level, I would differentiate between the idea of being in constant sin as imperfection and being in constant sin as a certain type of sin absolutely rules one's life. One cannot stop oneself from engaging. And, we can talk about all sorts of various forms of addictions and things like that clearly do demonstrate a level of idolatry in our lives, that we love something far more than we love God. But, you technically could make the argument that as long as there is any idolatry whatsoever, and really, you can make the technical argument that all sin is a form of idolatry. You're putting yourself before the Creator. Yeah. If you go that direction, then the only way out would be to believe in a doctrine of sinless perfection. And then you don't need a mediator any longer.
Right, yeah. And that makes a lot of sense, because it's not like a rebellion thing. It's just that I think about it, I really want to love him perfectly, but I can't. And I know that. And so that's been on my mind for a couple of years, and I thought, I'm going to call Dr. White and ask him what he thinks. So that makes a lot more sense because it's not a rebellious thing that I don't want to.
Right.
When we gather with the saints on the Lord's Day, it's like little splashovers of heaven. It's so wonderful, and I wish that I could, feel like that, 24/7. I just thought it's kind of a weird question, but I knew that you would answer it well.
Okay.
And I certainly appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you, Lauren.
Okay. God bless you.
All right. God bless. Bye-bye.